Here is a letter from God to you for this new year. Exodus chapter 32 verse 14. And he said, my presence shall go with you, and I will give you rest. Are you seeking rest? Rest from your worries, rest from your struggles, rest from your frustrations, rest from your addictions, rest from your sins, rest from your wretchedness, rest from your failures. And he said, my presence shall go with thee, and I will give thee rest. Amos chapter 3 verse 3. Can two walk together except they be agreed? Before the presence of God can go with you into this new year, there must be an agreement between you and him. So number 1, agreement through salvation. 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 14 says, for what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness? And what concord hath Christ with Belial? Or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel? And what agreement hath the temple of God with idols? God is righteous. If you are unrighteous, he cannot have fellowship with you. God is light. If you are darkness, he cannot have communion with you. God will never be in agreement with you if you are into idol worship. So, before his presence can go with you to give you rest in this new year, you must come out of his enemy camp into his own camp. Then number 2, agreement through faith. Hebrews chapter 11 verse 6. But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. Being a God that means what he says and says what he means, he demands that everyone who will walk with him to take him at his word level. If he says I will, he means I will, and he will. Romans chapter 9 verse 33 says, and whosoever, male or female, boy or girl, man or woman, he or she, I or you, whosoever believes on him shall not be ashamed. Here lies my confidence, that as you follow these instructions from the Lord through me, you shall not be ashamed. He says, my presence shall go with you, and I will give you rest. This is his covenant to you for this new year, but only as you play your part of his agreement. Little wonder, Proverbs chapter 16 verse 7 states, when a man's ways please the Lord, that is, the man's way agrees with the Lord's way, he, that is the Lord, makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. Not because those enemies suddenly turn good, neither is it because they suddenly turn considerate, not because they now love your new ways, nor are satisfied with your goings, but because he, God, has scared the strength out of them and deadened them with his dread. So, in a bid to avoid his destruction on them, they appear to be as your friends and helpers. My presence shall go with thee, and I will give thee rest. Here is what God and only God can do in the life of anyone when he or she comes into true partnership with him. This is what only God and God alone can do and will do in your life as you willingly soak into his covenant of a new walk, that is his presence this new year. Hosea chapter 11 verse 10 and verse 11. They shall walk after the Lord. He shall roar like a lion. When he shall roar, then the children shall tremble from the west. They shall tremble as a bird out of Egypt, and as a dove out of the land of Assyria. And I will place them in their houses, said the Lord. Here is God's message to you for the new year. And as you obey it, I wish you the best of years you've spent on earth so far. And God bless you.